computer.
Do we get a countdown?
Okay, 3, 2. All right, you're recording. Come on,
All
Chris,
right,
you're up.
guys.
You're awesome. See ya.
All right. Again, thank you everyone for coming. Those of you who don't know me, I'm Chris. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be building robots using the Hummingbird kit as well as the Microbit. The robot that I'm going to show you to build today, this is about the simplest robot that you can build. So think of a robot just stripped down to its bare bones. The great thing about these kits and about this lesson, and Josh kind of mentioned this too as well, while I'm going to show you like the simplest thing that you can do and simplest robot you can build, the sky is the limit. So feel free, take what I'm showing you today and feel free to just run with it. And what we'll do is too, after I demonstrate how to build this robot, we'll just take a minute and brainstorm all the ways that you can extend this, all the ways that you can make your robot, take it from a simple robot to a much more advanced robot. So if you enjoy this, which I think you will, and I hope you will, feel free, just run with it. There's so many different ways that we can take it. Again, what I'm going to show you is just bare bones, simple, but run with it. Okay. And what I'm going to show you how to build today. And again, this is about as simple as it gets. Kind of show you an example. Give me a minute here. I'm trying to share my screen. Hey, Micah, I don't think I have did you make me a presenter? I don't think I have the ability to share my screen.
You can't share your screen? I'm trying to look.
I think you might have to make me a presenter.
I got
Maybe.
you. Oh, yeah. Did one participant share at a time, multiple?
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Never mind. My bad.
I was about to say,
I got it.
Okay, you got it.
I didn't touch that
My
button
bad.
for the
Sorry about that,
record.
everyone.
Chris, your points are going down. Okay. That's all I'm saying.
I know. I'm sorry. All right. So back to what we're going to be making, or what I'm going to show you how to demonstrate how to make is, again, it's about as simple as a robot as it gets. So basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to be using craft supplies. You're going to design a character of your choice. Like here, that's Spider-Man. I kind of made, I'll show you in a minute what I made. I made Forky from Toy Story. And you're going to set that character to some movement. You're going to attach it to a motor, program that motor to run and move back and forth. Again, as far as robotics goes, this is as simple as it gets. However, you will have time today. If you master this, you will have plenty of time to go nuts with it. Add more motors to it. You'll be able to add lights to it if you want. Add sensors, maybe make it run with a touch of a button. So many different places you can go with this from here, but we're going to start simple and then build out from there. Okay, so that's where we're headed. Let me get my camera. Okay. So some things you will need, and I kind of mentioned this before we got started, but any craft supplies that you have available. So, plastic spoons, cups, hot glue guns, cardboard. Cardboard is great. Crayons, colored pencils, googly eyes, pipe cleaners, all that good stuff. Whatever craft supplies and junk that you have around that you can build with, have that ready today. You're going to need it. Okay. Before we get into that and build, let's take a quick tour Okay, I have my camera up, but I'm going to kind of give you a quick tour of what is in these kits. Okay, just so you know, and so that you can use them. So, and we'll start with the most important and kind of go from there. So the most important thing that we have, if you can see my screen, is this guy here. So this is your microbit. What this is essentially a $15 computer. Very basic, but it's open and it's ready for you to program and do what you want with. So a couple features of the microbit to be aware of. Number one, these come with lights or LEDs on the front that you can program to, you can program different shapes, different symbols on this, or letters, numbers, things like that. These LEDs can also double as a light sensor too. So they can kind of take in light and then respond based upon the light that's in the room. They have two buttons on the front, an A and a B. So you can program these to, when A is pressed, do this, things like that. There's also a reset button, a little speaker on the back. And then you also have some like different sensors, like an accelerometer. So it can detect like how fast it's traveling. It can detect if you tilt it. And I believe a sound sensor too as well. Yeah. These are also enabled, and these will work through Bluetooth as well. Okay, so that's the most important thing. This is the brains of the operation here. So this is what you're programming to tell your robot what to do. So microbit is the most important thing. Second most important thing is this board here. So what this board is, and these are called breakout boards, but this is your Hummingbird breakout board. And what happens is your microbit kind of attaches to it like that. And what this does is it greatly expands the capabilities of that $15 computer, of that microbit. And some things that you can attach to this board that we're going to be doing. Number one, over on the left here, let me get some light in the room. I got some sunshine kind of beating right through here so you can see this a little bit better. But over here on the right side, this is where you're going to plug in your what are called servos, which is basically motors. And we have two different types of motors that we can use. LEDs, so these are lights, and we have two different options for lights. So one is a tricolor, which is more advanced, but you can program these to do red, green, or blue. And then just your standard LEDs that just have one color, usually white, for those. You can also add, I mentioned that the microbit comes with some sensors, but there's some more advanced sensors that come with the kit that you can also plug in here, as well as just a better speaker on this board too. So basically what this does is it it expands the capabilities of your microbit. After that, another very important thing that you're going to need is power, right? So these come with a power pack, and they take 4 AA batteries. Now, if you're just programming the microbit, you can give it power up here, and these take 2 AAA batteries. But what we're going to be doing is going to require much more power, and you're going to need 4 AA's to power that, and that plugs in to the power jack here. Okay. So I'll plug in my board. I'm going to use AC power, and you're going to see right off the bat there's like letters and numbers and flashing. That's going to be important here in a second, but we'll get to that. All right, so some other things that come with this kit. So next we'll turn to our motors here. So we have 2 different types of motors. So one is a rotation servo, and the other one is a position servo. So in my demonstration today, I'm going to be using the position servo. So this is a motor that moves 0 to 180 degrees. So it'll like move here and then move opposite. So it does not go all the way around. So with this servo, you would not use this to like power a wheel. Like if you wanted to make a self-driving car, for instance, this would not be the motor that you want. However, if you wanted to make something like a crane that scoops up material, this would be the servo that you would want to use for that. And that kind of brings us to the next servo, which is the rotation servo. And as you can see by like the diagram, this is the motor that moves 360 degrees or in a full circle. So if you wanted to make a like a self-driving car or a rover, this is what you would use to power your wheels. This kind of motor, which would be an option today. If you want to extend yourself, you could use this motor and kind of make a self-driving car if you want to. Okay, and we'd have time to do that. But today, what we'll need is our positions servo. So I'm going to put that rotation servo away for now. With your motors, okay, you have kind of a baggie of parts here with some screws. Don't worry about the screws. We're actually not going to be screwing anything on today. But these attach to the servo motors, and what these are called are horns. Servo horns is what they're called. And there's a couple different shapes and designs of them. You have a star, you have a circle, you just have a two-sided one that looks like a propeller. In my demonstration today, I'm going to use the servo horn that's just two-sided like this. That kind of looks like a propeller. And how these work is they attach to that white thing on your motor like this. You can kind of just snap them on like that. You do not need to screw these on at all for what we're doing today. All you need to do is snap them on, and I wouldn't recommend screwing them on because you'll want to remove them and maybe try different ones. But these are servo horns. If you get to the point where you want to use the rotation servos, these do come with wheels that can attach to the rotation servos. So if you get to the point where you want to make like a self-driving car, you can certainly use these. Okay, we have, as I mentioned on the board, you can do like a light show with these as well. So we do have LEDs that come with them. So these would be our tricolor LEDs. And then these would be just our regular LEDs, one color, usually white, that flashes, that you can program to flash on and off. Okay. And then finally, last thing, and this would be if you want to get more advanced with it, but you have 4 different types of sensors to work with. So I'll just briefly talk about these different sensors. And again, if you want to kind of challenge yourself today, you are welcome to use these. We're not going to get to them, or in my demonstration, I'm not going to get to them, but it is an option today. So first one is this would be a distance sensor. So if you're making a self-driving car or self-driving rover, this would be useful. This would detect objects at a certain distance that you can specify. We have kind of a knob, a switch. So you can program your robot to turn or rotate on a knob switch. This is a noise sensor. So this can detect, noise at certain decibels, and you can program your microbit to respond. If there's a noise at a certain decibel level, you can program it to respond in a certain way. And then finally, what you have is a light sensor. So I mentioned before, there are light sensors through the LEDs on the microbit, but these actually come with a kind of a more advanced light sensor that you can program. One way that you can use this today, if you want to, you can kind of add this to your project and kind of use it as a button. So basically, you can program it so that, like, if you touch it or cover it, which will cast some shade over it, you can kind of use this like a button. So if there's shade, you can make your robot turn with it. That could be one way that you can use it. Again, these are, if you want to take it to the next level, you can explore like the rotation servo. You can explore the LEDs, or even add some sensors to your robot today. Okay. But again, we're going to keep it real simple. And really what we're going to be using as far as the nuts and bolts is going to be your microbit, your breakout board, and this position servo with the propeller horn, with the two-sided horn. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be using out of the kit. However, there's going to be plenty of time if you want to take it up a notch. You can explore.
All right, so this is the group that's doing it.
I'm sorry, is there a question?
All right, so we might be. I don't know what part there. But okay, so now we are going to get our.
We're going to get it all night.
Yep. Yeah, so for this, we're going to use.
Okay, was there a question that someone had? Or are there any questions? I should ask, are there any questions so far with what's in the kits and what these components do? Okay, so we're going to continue on. And again, how I'm going to run this session, just so you know, is I'm going to just up front build this whole thing. Yeah, I'm going to up front build the whole robot, show you how to program it, code it, and then I'm going to set you guys loose to do that. And then for the rest of the time here, I'm just going to be here. So I kind of view myself as like a consultant, just someone here to give advice. So if you have any questions, just building when it's time for you to build the basic robot, I'll be here to help you with that. Or if you want to do anything more advanced, I'm here to help you with those more advanced concepts too as well. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen again. And then I'm just going to show you beginning to end how to build this very simple robot. Let you do it, and then chime in as you have questions for the rest of the time. Okay, sound good? All right. And please, again, if you have questions, I can't really. I'm going to be jumping through a couple apps and my camera again, so I'm not going to be able to see the chat. So feel free, if you have a question, just unmute and interrupt me, and it's totally cool. All right, so sharing my screen again. Okay, so where we left off, kind of gave you a tour of everything that's in the Hummingbird kit and all the components that you have. So what I'm going to do now is just real quickly, I'm actually going to build the thing, like put it all together. After that, I'm going to show you how to program it. Okay, so we'll build it first. So what I'm going to use to build, just some very simple materials. I'm going to use a plastic cup like this. And I'm also going to use a spoon. And just to save time, I actually have my character built. If any of you have watched Toy Story before, hopefully you recognize Forky from not the original Toy Story, one of the later ones. But Forky is basically a spork with some yarn, some googly eyes, and a pipe cleaner. Okay, so I already have that built. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take my position servo and I'm going to basically and a marker. And what I need to do is like notch out a spot on this cup where I can place my position servo. Okay, so it's going to like fit inside the cup like this. So what I'm going to do is, hopefully you guys can see, but I'm going to take a marker or a Sharpie, And I'm going to draw like an outline of the servo on the cup. Doesn't need to be perfect. Okay, so I kind of have like a rough shape of the servo there, and I'm going to cut that out. So I have an X-Acto knife, but use what you have available. You probably have scissors, things like that. And I'm using a cup. Feel free, you can use like a cardboard box if you want. You can use plate or maybe some cardboard. X-Acto knife is a little dull. That's not good. Probably not the most pleasant of noises. I apologize for that. Yeah, be careful. Okay, so I have a kind of like a square notched out where my servo can go. The other thing I want to do is, I need a place for the wire to kind of exit the cup. So kind of behind that notch, I'm going to just cut like something right here at the bottom. And I can just fold this up. And that's for my wire right there. Okay. So now what I can do, I can kind of put my position servo into place. So I'm going to feed the wire through first. Might need to notch this out a little bit bigger. Let's see if that's a little bit better here. There we go. Okay. So that's what I got so far. So I just have a notch for my position servo, then a notch in the back where the cord can exit. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to attach Forky. Okay. So the character that I made, and it's totally up to you how you want to make your character. You can use cardboard, you can use construction paper, you can use plastic cutlery if you want. However you want to make your character today, do that. And maybe while I'm doing this, think about what character you want to make. So is there a character from a movie that you really like? Maybe from a video game, but think who you're going to make to do something today. All right, so what I'm going to do next is you can either use tape or you can use simple glue. Personally, I like to use hot glue gun. So if you have hot glue guns, that works very well for projects with the Hummingbird kit. And what I'm going to do, so I'm letting my glue gun heat up for a minute, and I'm going to hot glue gun Forky to that servo horn right here. feel free with these servo horns. You can, if you're using hot glue, you can hot glue directly onto the servo horns. Just be careful. If I recommend, if you're going to hot glue gun like on the sides of the servos, I would recommend you can do that, but I would recommend putting like some masking tape on it. It just kind of protects the motor. It makes things easier to clean up. The servo horns, though, I find you can hot glue gun directly onto the horns, and it's pretty easy to peel off when you're done with the project too. But again, on the motor itself, like on the sides, if you're going to glue onto that, put some masking tape on first. All right, so let's see if my hot glue gun is ready. There we go. So I'm going to put like 2 dots here. And we're attaching Forky. Okay. So here we go. At this point, again, like I'm keeping my demonstration here very simple. Let me unplug my hot glue gun. Done with that. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to first plug in my servo, and then we're going to start programming the servo to move. Okay. So plug it in so you can see my board here. All right. So you have your cable. And then on the right-hand side, these are the ports for the servos. So very important. One thing I want to point out, okay, and this is true for like if you're going to use the LEDs, if you're going to use the sensors, or if you're going to use the servos. Each one of these ports are numbered, okay? These numbers are important. So you want to keep track of which port that you're using, okay? So for this, I'm going to plug in my servo to port number 1. Okay, like that. So I'm in servo port number 1. Keep in mind, and you have like an S, a positive and a negative. So as far as the color of the wires, white is S, red is positive, and black is always negative. Okay. All right, so I think at this point, right, so my robot is essentially built. It's plugged in. I have power to the microbit and to the Hummingbird kit. So at this point, I am ready to program, and I'm ready to make Forky move a little bit. So what I'm going to do is on my iPad, I'm going to launch the Bird Blocks app here. And I'm going to make a new program. Okay. So ready for probably the most difficult part of today or this project, which is going to be connecting your microbit to the iPad. So, I mentioned before, and I kind of showed you when you power on your microbit, you're going to have like, it's going to flash like kind of like a code. That's how you connect it. So in Bird Blocks, what I want to do is I want to go up here. You'll see like the Hummingbird icon with the link. This is where you go to connect your device. So before I connect it, I have a device connected already. I'm going to disconnect. So you're going to see there's like a black dot there. That means nothing is connected. Now I'm going to choose connect device. Okay. So now, I have the microbit plugged in. It's flashing that code. on the microbit on the LEDs, and it's picking it up. So each one of these microbits has a unique name. So mine is IMS, which stands for Interesting Moonstone Stegosaurus. So I'm going to select that and see if we can get connected here. So as you can see, this is where you might have some issues. So like mine did not connect right away. So I'm getting a red dot. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a little bit of troubleshooting to get this to work. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect it, and then I'm going to force close the BirdBlocks app. And then I'm going to relaunch it. Usually that does the trick. So fingers crossed. And there we go. So I hope you gathered that. So if it's not connecting right away, couple troubleshooting steps. Okay, number one, go up here, disconnect it. Okay, and then force close the app, and then relaunch. Okay, and I found usually that does the trick. Okay, once it's connected, what that does for us is we have like a menu over here in the app, and a couple different devices that we can use. Like if I go into Hummingbird Duo, you're going to see all the blocks are grayed out here, which means those aren't available for us. But we should be under Hummingbird Bit, and then under Hummingbird Bit, you're going to see that we do have access to these blocks, which is what we want. Which is the board that we're using is the Hummingbird Bit. We have a couple different options, and if any of you have ever programmed using Scratch, this should look familiar to you. So this is going to be pretty basic or pretty similar to Scratch. Okay. So under robots, so these are going to be blocks that are going to be specific to those things that I showed you in the kit. For instance, the tricolor LEDs, the LEDs position and rotation servos. The blocks to control all those components are going to be under robots. Operators, this is where you can kind of use some logic. So you can say like, if the light sensor falls below 20 lumens, then this should happen. That's where you'd use like the operators. To control that speaker that's on the Hummingbird kit, this is what you would do. And again, this would be another area where you can extend yourself today by adding sound. Yes.
Chris, I'm sorry. This is Sharon in Newcastle. We are
Hi,
not
Sharon.
connecting. I'm sorry. We're not getting our the kit connected to the iPad.
Okay.
How do we do that?
Did you try the troubleshooting stuff that I showed you?
No, I think we completely
Okay.
skipped that. So
Yeah.
I'm
okay.
so sorry.
Do you have your so first of all, is your Hummingbird kit plugged in?
The Hummingbird is it's all, it has power, but we don't have it to the iPad.
Okay. Does on the microbit, do you see like the code flashing? Like there should be like 3 letters and then like a number.
On the computer, there's 3 letters and a number. Yes.
On the microbit, is that scrolling on the microbit?
Is it scrolling on the microbit, everybody? Yes.
Okay, great. So what you want to do in the app, okay? So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so in the app, so again, and this is probably useful for everyone to go over again, because I have a feeling that everyone's going to run into this problem today. So if you have like a red dot where the Hummingbird is up here, what you want to do is disconnect the device. Okay, and then you want to force close the BirdBlocks app. Okay, so like slide it off the top of your screen. Then relaunch BirdBlocks. Go back up to that Hummingbird icon, and then you'll see the option to connect the device, and then go into connect device and try connecting it again.
Okay, so it should be running green. You should have the green light instead of the red light. Does everybody have a green light?
So Chris, we are having an issue where two of ours, even though they have powers, they were scrolling and then they stopped. So we don't have the letters. We've tried unplugging and plugging them back in, and we're not sure what to do next.
Okay. Yeah, that's happened to me before. Yeah, usually I've gotten it by unplugging and like disconnecting the microbit. What you can also do, let me pull up my camera. The other thing to try is on the back of the microbit. There is a reset button right there. So you can try pressing that reset button. Or you can, like if you press and hold this reset button for like 4 seconds, it'll actually turn it off. And then you can kind of disconnect it, reconnect it, and try turning it back on, see if that gets it to appear again. So how does this sound, guys? So I know there's going to be, and I kind of anticipated this. So this is, again, this is going to be like the most difficult part is just getting our microbits connected. Once we're connected, it's smooth sailing. So why don't we do this, if it's okay with you guys? Let me just, because the coding part, at least for the simple project, is really easy. So why don't you guys sit back, kind of watch me do the coding, and then we can kind of jump on and troubleshoot individual issues, if that's okay with everyone. But yeah, if any part that you have trouble with, it's going to be this part. But don't worry, we'll be able to work through everything. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to do some programming now. And if you have your microbit and Hummingbird connected, and you're seeing the green light up here, you're ready for this phase. If not, just sit tight. We'll get it all troubleshooted for you. Okay. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do with my code is I'm going to go to control. And this is basically what I want to say is like, when do I want the motion to start? Okay. And what I'm going to do is I like to use, and there's a couple ways that you can do that. I like to use when the flag is tapped. So that's this flag up top. So basically I get to control like when the motion starts and stops. So if I want it to start, I'm going to press the flag. If I want it to stop, I'm going to press the stop sign up here. Okay. After that, I'm going to use a repeat forever loop, which basically means, once I tap that flag, it's just going to start moving until I tell it to stop. Okay. Then after that, okay, basically I'm ready within this repeat forever loop. I'm ready to kind of give instructions to my servo motor. So I'm going to go up to robots. Okay. And then remember, we have two different types of servos. One is a rotation. That's if we want to make like a rover or a car. Then the other one is our position servo, which maxes out at 180 degrees. So that's if you just want some motion, or if you want to build something like a crane, that's what we use. Okay, so I have my position servo in place. One thing to keep in mind, this is why I said like keeping track of the port that you have your servo plugged in is very important, right? So I could go in and I can specify, like, let's say maybe I didn't plug it into port 1. I could say that it's in port 3 or port 4. In my case, though, as I showed, I did plug it into port 1. So I'm going to leave that at port 1. And then as far as the angle, so this would be at what angle do we want to start at? Okay. And the angle goes from 0 to 180 degrees, as I mentioned before. So maybe I'm going to start at something like, and feel free to experiment with it. Maybe I start at 30 degrees. Okay. The other thing I want to do now, and this is easy to forget, is I'm going to go back to control. And I'm going to put in a wait block. If I don't do that, so basically I'm going to have two different commands to position my servo. But I wanted to wait. If I don't wait, it's going to go really fast. So fast to the point where like it's not really going to get a good turn. So I want to give it like a good 1 second to complete its 30-degree turn. Okay. Then after that, I'm going to put in a second servo block. Okay, maybe this one, maybe we can turn it 30 to 90 degrees, or maybe 95 degrees. Again, this is going to be a little bit of trial and error to get it to turn the way that you want it to turn. And then after that, I'm going to put in my weight. Okay. So at this point, I'm ready to test my code. Now, unfortunately, in order for the code to work, like you have to be in the app. So I'm not going to be able to show you on my camera Forky moving. So you're going to have to like take my word whether or not it's working or not. So at this point, I'm going to press the green flag to start the code, and let's see what happens. Okay, so Forky is moving, and he's moving from 30 degrees to 90 degrees. He's moving pretty well. However, I do have a little bit of an issue. So basically, it's the position of the servo. So basically, I like, you don't see it right now, but I have to like pick up the cup, because if I don't, Forky's hitting my desk. So simple solution to that, or two ways I can solve that problem rather. So I'm going to stop my code from running. Two ways I can solve that problem. One way is I can adjust the angles. So maybe rather than 30, maybe I try to start at 0. So I could try to adjust the angles if I want, or I could just snap off the horn, the servo horn, and just reposition it. Let's see how that works. All right, so actually much better, like he's more upright and he's not hitting my desk right now, which I want. So two ways to kind of correct that. Again, I can't really, unfortunately, I can't really show you mine moving because it would stop. As soon as I would exit the app, it would stop running. Okay. But you could probably hear the motor going in the background. Okay. Okay. So after this, so I'm going to stop. You know, very basic. So that's kind of, again, simplest robot that you can make today is that, just having the servo turn and just kind of move your character. As I mentioned before, there are a lot of ways that you can extend this and kind of go nuts with it. So going back to our robots blocks, you can start plugging in LEDs to this board in the ports. You can add LED blocks here. You can add sounds. You can actually add maybe a second position servo, right? So rather than, you can plug one into port 2 this time. And then you can maybe build off of your platform. So you can have maybe 2 things related to your character. Like for instance, like I think last time was in a session, we did a scene from Mario Brothers. So like I can do Mario, I can have Mario moving, and then maybe I have like a fireball moving out of Mario's hand if I wanted to. So I can add a second servo to this. If I really wanted to go nuts, I could add in my rotation servo, and maybe I put wheels on my cup and I make like a rover. So I make Forky drive around if I wanted to. Or I can experiment with some of the sensors. I can add like a button to that. But again, so we're going to kind of leave it at at the simple robot. Maybe what I'll do is like on my screen, I'll put some suggestions. So like if you build your simple robot and you're ready to kick it up a notch, I can put some suggestions on there of what you can do, and then you can feel free to chime in and ask for help or ask for a demonstration with those more advanced things. So we definitely have time today. Okay. So with that, let me go back into Zoom. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, so with that, we can start building your robot, and then any troubleshooting help that you need, please jump on. I know there's probably a couple of you that need help connecting right now. And likewise, any advice that you want as far as kicking it up a notch, I'm here. So
Did yours start? Okay. So Chris, we tried doing the advice that you gave us with us not blinking. So we did try hitting the restart, unplugging and replugging it in. And we still have people who are not flashing those.
Okay. Are you able to bring your board up to turn on your camera and bring the board up so I can have a look at it?
I'm on over with your board. They're coming up now.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
I can show Chris the board.
All right. Let's take a look here. Yeah, hold up to the camera. Okay. Do you have the battery pack with it?
Oh, hold on. We are using the AC adapters.
Okay. All right. So you got AC adapters. Now, is that the microbit that came in the kit?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Are we able to plug that in?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay. Thank you.
It was interesting. Like they were working and flashing,
Yeah.
and then stopped.
Yeah. No. That's happened to me before. And usually it just takes some stubbornness to get it going again. All right. So here we go. All right. So we're plugged in. Now, are any lights on at all? So I see there's a light on the microbit board. Is anything flashing on the microbit?
No.
No.
No, nothing.
Okay. And just pardon my questions. Is the microbit like snapped in? Can we maybe try?
Yes, it's all the way pressed in.
Okay. So let's try this. So let me hold mine up. So there's two buttons on the front and then that reset button. Let's try maybe pressing and holding all three of those buttons.
Try that too if you're having.
Yeah, press and hold. Okay. And then take the microbit out and plug it back in. Did that do anything? No. Okay. Okay. Can I see the back? Is there like a light on the back of the microbit at all?
I don't see a light. What about you guys? Do you have a light on the back of your microbit? No.
Okay. All right. So let me think here. Do you have a green status on the Hummingbird kit? Is that lit up?
Yes, it looks lit up. Is yours lit up?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not.
It's kind of harder with the lighting in here. It's kind of hard. So I'm gonna turn down the lights.
I did this.
Okay. All right. So I'm wondering, in the app,
It's not on.
Okay, yeah, it's not on.
It's not on. Okay. All right. So I think we're kind of narrowing down where the problem is. So I think the problem might be with our power supply.
Okay. So I do have battery.
Yeah, do you have any batteries that we can try?
Our power on. And for you guys, grab the black battery pack.
Thanks for being patient, guys. You're doing a great job. So this is all part of it.
I'm just having them put that in now.
Okay. I think I see it flashing. Hey, great job, guys. This is part of the magic of coding here. It's troubleshooting. Hey everyone. I'm going to give my camera a rest right now. But I am here. So if anyone needs help, or I'd love to see what you've made so far. So, if you have something to show me, please feel free bring it up to the camera. I am here, even though I'm giving my camera a rest. Or if you have questions, please come up and chime in. Again, I'm here and available for you.
We're having an exciting adventure over here at Evans City. It's very exciting. We are making, so far we've made a car, a DJ table, a Christmas tree that lights up and plays Christmas carols, and a rotate, looks like a windmill. So things are going crazy here. But
That's awesome. So they're
yes,
taking off with it.
when things are a little more complete, I'll have them come up and try and show you stuff. But they are on a roll, and so things are going well.
Cool. Glad to hear. Definitely show those.
So, Chris, can you go back to the app, please? And can you show us your like which sections are lit up? Ours is looking a little different, I think.
Okay. Yep. Give me 1 second. Let me plug everything back in. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so all right, so I'm connected. So what should be lit up, okay, let me kind of collapse this. So we have a couple different devices here. You should have the Hummingbird section lit up.
So ours say the microbit.
Oh, okay. So you had, this happened to me once before. So you had the microbit lit up. Okay. So do you want to try, which, like, if you wanted to, I mean, you could, like, if that's lit up, you could, we could program through the microbit. But we definitely want the Hummingbird bit. So what I would recommend doing, so when this happened to me, what I did was I disconnected the device up here. And then what I did is I force closed the app, reopened, and then reconnected again. And that kind of helps. So if you want to give that a shot and let me know if that works. But if need be, we can use the microbit blocks.
I'm sitting back, Chris, just watching, and seems dope.
Yeah.
Seems like legitimately good. Good. I'm glad everybody's having fun. I'm waiting for the when they clean it up part of this. Remember? Cool. All right. I just want to chime in and say hello.
All right, so this is going to be silly. I do not use iPads at all outside of this, so I probably should
Okay.
iPads more. We don't know how to force close an app.
Okay. Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Just let it happen. Just let it happen.
Yeah. All right. So to force close, the home button on the iPad, if you press that twice real quick, when you press that twice, you should get a screen that looks like this.
Double click it.
Yeah. And then what you can do is like take that Bird Blocks app and then slide it off the top of the screen.
Hey, Chris, when you have a second, can we ask you a question?
Yeah, absolutely. Give me a minute here.
Sure.
Were you able to do that and figure out force closing?
What?
I'm sorry. What this is for? Indiana.
I'm sorry. It's so loud in here. I'm gonna mute real quick.
Indian Valley.
We are able to force close, and they also say microbit.
I'm sorry.
They still all say microbit.
It's still doing that. Okay. Now, are they plugged into the AC power or are they on battery?
They're on battery.
Okay. Are they new batteries?
Yes, we just got them out of the package.
Okay. Yeah, I wonder if it's not getting enough power for some reason. Okay.
I don't know if it's all of your battery packs, but we had the same problem with just one of our battery packs, and we tried switching out the batteries even though they were all brand new, and it works when we switched them out even though they were brand new batteries.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that's where the problem is coming from. And and sometimes there's not a rhyme or reason for it. So yeah, if we could try some different power options for it, some different battery packs, different batteries, and let's see if that works. If not, maybe let's give it like a couple more minutes, just trying different batteries, different battery packs. And then if that doesn't work, we can, I mean, we can roll with the microbit, so we can maybe do some different things just on the microbit with you guys, if that's okay. All right. While they're working on that, so who was it that had the question? I'm sorry.
Never. I think we figured the sound out, so I think we're okay. But
Okay.
we have here. I'll see. Here's my car. Hey, wait, guys, put your car down. Go ahead, put it down. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Nice. There it goes. Good job.
Are they using the distance sensor?
Well, I can't hear you.
Are they using the distance sensor?
Are you guys using the distance sensor?
No, we're using this program. So you click this one block to make it start, and then you click this one to make it stop.
How can they use the distance sensor?
Yeah, so this would be a challenge for you guys. See if you can figure this out. So plug in the distance sensor. So you should see the sensor ports on the Hummingbird kit. And see if you can program it that, like, if there is an object in front of it, maybe have it turn either right or left.
Oh, do you understand?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
and think about that. How are you going to make it turn, right? So if you have two wheels, okay, and let's say if you wanted to turn right, which
there's no
motor?
distance block?
No.
Where are the distance blocks on the iPad, on the app?
Let me
Here,
share.
he's going to show you. Okay. All right, he's going to show you the distance.
Yeah, so those are going to be under robots.
Okay.
And that is going to be in this block here. Okay, you'll see it now. How we need to use that, okay, is you're going to have to use
Operator.
So give me a minute.
He's showing them how.
Yeah. Okay. So it's probably going to have to be an if else block that you're going to have to use. And we're going to have to use operators.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah. And that makes more sense.
Yeah, and then
See that?
Is that in inches? Is that like?
He wants to know if that's in inches.
no, it'd probably be metric. And
It's
honestly,
probably
it might
metric.
not be.
That's what they
like,
use in England.
Like
Yeah. Or like well, it'd be like a millimeter, right? Not a big meter. Little, yeah. They seem convinced they know how to do it, so
yeah.
they
And,
have abandoned.
and honestly, those numbers are probably just arbitrary.
Yeah.
Like it's probably just like some increment that they made up. So there's going to have to be some trial and error.
Okay. All right. Thank you. They're excited.
So the other thing that they need to think about, right? So if you have two rotation servos, all right. So and let's say you want to make it turn right, you're going to have to think about. So you have a left servo and you have a right servo.
Oh.
Which one of them is going to have to turn? The other one is not going to have to turn.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Right.
So which one do you need to fire in order to turn a certain direction?
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yep.
Okay. Well, God help me. I'm going back into the pit here.
Yeah. Well, have fun. All right, Indian Valley, how are we doing?
Okay, with the kids' help here in Newcastle, Miss Sharon got her Captain America thing to spin, thanks to Katarina and Lauren. No, I mean, it was like Katarina and I had to switch iPads. It was like one was controlling the other, and then it was like just the numbers. It was kind of strange, that our troubleshooting was a little weird here. So
yeah, that was probably something I probably should have mentioned too. Like when it connects with Bluetooth, it's usually best to connect it maybe one at a time. Okay. Because you could be picking up other devices and connecting to someone else's microbit.
Okay, that's good, because I think we were all trying to go in at once, because I was noticing like mine was shaking, but it wasn't doing anything, so I was like completely confused. So oh no, okay, we have a question here. Hang on, Katarina, you go ahead and
How do you do the sound sensor?
Okay, let me share my screen. And plug in my bit here.
Katarina, can you hear?
All right, so here, let me start from scratch here. Okay, so can you see my screen? Okay, so what I'm going to do is, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move in my, when the green flag is tapped, and what I'm going to put in under that is I'm going to put in an if statement to start. Okay, and then with an if statement, you need an operator block. So let's say like you want something to happen if the sound is above a certain level, right? So like if you clap by it, that maybe triggers your motor to move, right? So in operators, I'm going to pick this block here, which is like the greater than block. Okay, and you can see it's like comparing two things, like if the first thing is greater than a certain number. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace that 0 with, if I go into my robots block, so I need the bit right here, and by default you're going to see light, but we can change that to sound. And again, just be aware, you'll have to plug the sensor in. I'll put my camera here to show you on the Hummingbird kit where and how we plug that in. But just beware of the port that you're plugging in that sound sensor. So if you plug it into 1, leave it at 1, or just say port 1, port 2, wherever you plug that in. And then this is where trial and error comes into play, like this number here. You don't want that to be 0, but maybe you want to start out at something like 10. Okay, so if the sound is greater than 10, which, I mean, that's just a number that they made up, a level that they make up. And then in this if statement, I'm going to say what happens. So if the sound is greater than 10, what do I want to happen? So maybe I want the servo to move, right? 90 degrees, for instance. I'm going to put in my weight after that, right? So basically, if sound gets very loud, the motor's going to start moving. Okay, is what my code is saying right now. Okay, now on the Hummingbird kit, I'm going to get my camera out so I can show you how to connect that, in case you need to see how to connect it. All right, so I'm going to get the sound sensor, which is this one here. So let me untie it. Okay. So I have 3 wires here that are going to, and I'm going to put this in port 1. Okay. So just remember the order, and they do give like a little tool like this. This is handy when you're using this. See, there's like a little button here. So to plug in these wires, I'm going to press down. I'm going to do the negative. So black is negative. Okay, and then let go. So that's in there securely. Red is positive. Okay, so I'm going to, middle one here. I'm going to use the tool to press down. Okay, and then the yellow is the S wire. And so I'm going to okay. So now so I have my sound sensor plugged into port 1. Okay, and then if I go back to my code, okay, so basically I have my code set that when the sound level is above 10, my position servo is going to rotate. So maybe we'll rotate it from 10 degrees to 95 degrees. I need one more weight in here. Okay, so let's see if this works. Okay, so 10 is probably not sensitive enough. So I need to change this. Maybe I make it 5. Okay, see if you can work with it. I'm going to troubleshoot this a little bit. I might have plugged in wires wrong, so I'm going to try to troubleshoot this. So give me a second. Oh, you know what the issue is? I didn't have my servo plugged in. So that would be why. Let me change this back to 10. Oh. Okay. Yep, got it. So if you can see my code, and now when I'm talking, it's triggering. So 10 seems to be a good level, though you might need to adjust that, given the noise in your room. So it's kind of funny. So every time I'm talking now, my Forky is spinning.
Chris, thank you. She's making it work to her voice and then as she claps too.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I'm actually having a lot of fun with this now. Like every time I talk or you talk, mine's going.
No, thank you. This is amazing. There's so much to learn in this.
Yeah, a lot, really a lot you can do.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. Chris.
Yes.
How do you do the lights?
Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me share my screen. Okay, let me get my camera here. I'll get my board. All right, so I'll use the basic LEDs. Okay, so one of these out. All right, so I'm going to use this LED. Okay, so there's a black, so each one is going to have a black wire and then like a different color wire. So this one's going to be green. Okay, so I'm not using the tricolor. So on the board, because I'm not using the tricolor, I'm going to use these yellow blocks here. Okay, so just the basic LEDs. So there's 3 different ports. I'm going to plug into port 1 with the LEDs right here. So the black wire, remember the black wire is always negative. So the black wire is going to go into first one, and then the green wire is going to go into the positive port. Okay, so I'm going to get my tool. Let's see here, like this. So I have to press down on this button with the tool. I'm going to plug in the negative wire first, black wire first. A little stubborn here. Okay, so I got them plugged in. So next, I'm going to go to my code. Okay, it's connected. So I already have some code here. So basically, I have a statement that I also have my my sound sensor connected. So basically, I'm saying when there's noise, we're going to move the servo. And what I'm going to add to this, I'm also going to add the LEDs too. So if I go to my robot blocks, and then 2 different blocks for LEDs. One is for the tricolor, and then one is just for the normal LED. Remember, I just did the normal LED. So I'm going to add that. So maybe I just want the light to blink. Okay, so I plugged it into port 1. And then you can say like, what intensity do you want it? So I can make it like kind of blink dimly, or I can make it blink brightly. So I'm going to go like 100% when it turns on. And then I'm going to make it go 0% when it turns off. So that's it's going to go full on and then full off each second. And that's going to happen with the servo turn. So if I press my green flag here, all right. So as my servo is turning, my light is blinking on and off. Okay. Does that make sense?
Okay, she's saying it sort of makes sense.
Okay.
Katerina, what specifically do you need? It's not working.
Okay. Do you want to bring it up to the camera and we can troubleshoot a little bit? So the problem
Bring it
is
on.
either how you have the LED plugged in, or the problem could be in your code.
Okay, we're trying to get the camera up.
Oh, that looks great. Is that a windmill?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I see. I see. Okay. All right. So let's look at your board, how you have it plugged in. So do you have let's check that first. Do you have the black wire plugged in to the negative port?
What's the negative?
It'll be a minus sign.
Okay, now.
Okay, so I think that's where our issue is. So go ahead, maybe unplug your wires and switch them.
Okay, she's going to try to switch them. I think that's right. It looked like the negative was in the positive.
Okay, sounds good.
She'll bring it back over.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, we have liftoff.
Awesome. Awesome. Yep.
I'm here. It works. It works. It works. It works.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing too, and the great part of this is troubleshooting, which is a important skill to learn.
Is there like a maximum, I guess, line of code that we can have? Does it stop after a certain point?
It shouldn't. Now you're going to be limited on like the ports that you have on the board, right? So you can only plug in so many servos, and like LEDs and stuff. So that's kind of where you're going to be limited. And it also goes back to the issue with power that we were having. Sometimes if you're plugging in too much to the board, it might be taxing the power supply too much too as well.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So now, am I still muted? No. Okay. I feel like we're because we are using the microbit and not the hummingbird because we couldn't get that part. So we have our lights, the extra LED lights attached. Do you know what we can use to program with that in the microbit part?
Let me bring up my screen. Okay. So have you been programming like the display?
Yeah, we've been messing around with the display and the print part, and the sound basically, but now we want to try the extra LEDs.
Okay. So that would be the pins. And let me see here. So if you can see there's blocks for the to write to the pin. So what we're gonna have to find out is what pin numbers those are. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna look in the manual here real quick. Usually some boards will actually tell you what pin that you're in when there's like breakout boards. Okay, might have an answer for you here. Oh, okay. So this is a good, I don't know if you can see my screen right now.
Yeah, we're reading it.
Yeah, so I'm seeing, so pin 2 controls the single color LED on port 2. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch my LED from port 1. Let me bring my camera. I'm going to switch this LED that I have in port 1. I'm going to switch that over to port 2. So from and after that, I'll show you what I do with the code. Right. Okay. So now in my code, so I got my LED in port 2, which is writing to pin 2. So in my code, what I would do is move. I would choose this block, which again, mine's grayed out, but yours won't be. So I'm going to, you're going to have something that looks like this in your code, right? So it's going to be to pin 0, it'll be pin 2. And then to turn it on, make that 100%. And then it, like if you want it to blink, so have it be 100% for on and then 0% for off, if that makes sense. Okay, so your code would look something like this, or should look something like this, if you want that LED to blink.
Hey Chris, one of my kids can't get any of the servos to work. He's tried unplugging and plugging them all in, tried making sure negatives are to negatives, positives to positives, and he's just not sure how else to troubleshoot.
Okay. Would he be able to come over?
You want to bring it over?
So I can see it in the camera?
Yeah, go ahead and bring your tablet over in case we need to take a look at code. You can just sit right there and then you can pull it up.
Okay.
Okay. So if you sit right there, you should be able to do it.
Okay. All right, how's it going? So let's take a look here. Can I see your board first? Can you hold that up to the camera? All right, back up a little bit. Okay. And you got your you have your servo?
Yeah, I have it.
Okay. So let's yep, you got a position servo. So let's plug that into port 1 with your servos. Now make sure the black wire is lining up with negative, with the minus sign.
Yeah, it's in.
All right, it's in.
Yeah.
All right, good. Now do you have your iPad with you?
Yes.
Okay. Can I take a look at your code now that you did?
I don't have any of the position things active right now because I had to delete them because it wasn't working. But
Okay. So, and I'm seeing that you're not connected. So go up in the top left. Do you see that Hummingbird icon?
yes.
All right. So let's connect it. So we need to connect your iPad to the microbit. Do you see like connect device?
Yeah.
All right. Do you see now? Do you see like you have something scrolling across your microbit? You see those first 3 letters?
Yeah, it's just HDC.
All right. Now, do you see that? Yeah. So HDC. So do you see that on your as an option to connect to?
Yes, I do.
Yep. So go ahead, connect to it.
It's on.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna share my screen right now. Okay. And I'm gonna kind of show you the code that you can put in to get that to work. Okay. All right, so I'm sharing my screen. All right, so I'm going to get rid of this. All right, so you should be under the blocks that we need are under Hummingbird bit. Okay, I'm going to go to control first. I'm going to get that green when the green flag is tapped. Then I'm going to do repeat forever. Okay, so once I have these two in, I'm going to go to my robots blocks. And then position servo. So you have a position servo in there. And then, maybe I start at, you can experiment with different angles. So maybe I start at like 10 degrees. Then I'm going to do a wait for 1 second. Okay. Then I'm going to go back. I'm going to add another position servo. And this time, maybe I have it go to 100 degrees. So I'd have it go from 10 to 100 degrees. And then I need to put it in another wait block. Okay. And now when I tap on my, yep. When I tap on my green flag, it goes. And when I tap on the stop sign, it stops. Hey, you want to try that?
Yeah, I'll try that.
Yeah, and you can stay there. Let's see if it works or not. Okay. And if you need me to, I can put my code back up on the screen if you need to see that.
Is there any way to get a negative for the position?
Oh, so for the position servo, okay, so that's going to go from 0 degrees to 180 degrees. Okay. Now the rotation servo, which you can use to like put a wheel on and like make a car, that's going to go negative if you want.
Then I might have to use your rotations here. I'll have to figure out how to do this. Can't believe me and my brother were making, like, he made a little wizard out of the thing and he wanted it to shake back and forth, and I'm trying to figure out how to do that. It's not an easy thing to do.
Did you get that servo to turn?
I haven't tested.
Yeah, try it. Let's see if it's turning or not.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Yeah, so I mean, you have a range with those two servo blocks. You can go from 0 to 180. So, if you want it to turn less, if you want it to turn more, you can experiment with that. Okay.
Yeah, I think it is going the way he wanted it to. It worked.
Yeah, a little trial and error.
There you go.
All right, good job. Yeah.
What's your creation? Can you do it again?
Second. It's a glowing thing.
Okay. Is it go through?
Yeah, that's one. I need to do this.
Okay.
I see the cups moving. Oh, that's cool. I see it from a distance, but that looks really cool. You could probably make a pretty fun game with that.
All right, so Chris, I know ours isn't, we're not exactly following the project, but we have one of our kid, he did some cool noises he wants to share.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get closer.
Oh, no way.
It feels like someone's getting abducted by aliens.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say, it kind of sounds like Stranger Things.
That's true. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. All right, go ahead. And now we have someone else.
I'm sorry, I can't see.
Get close. Oh, you can get closer.
Yep. Okay, is that how you made the sounds?
So she did a loop. So like you could start it from the beginning. Go ahead.
You might not be able to hear it, but the micro bit is also 1 second.
I'm bringing it over. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh wow.
It's a combination of
we got a light show in there.
Yeah, her asking if it's annoying, a song, someone saying yes, and then it's all looped.
It goes up to 15 times. And then finally there's the
and it ends with a toilet flush.
No, it does not.
What's the toilet flush then?
Oh. It's just part of the loop.
Okay.
No, wait. And then there's
So how did you get the toilet flush sound?
Oh, that's in the sounds part.
Yeah, there's a sound part that we're just messing with as well. So they're recording their own original and then also doing like some beepy noises and some of the sound that already comes with it.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one thing I haven't tried yet with it. Like I haven't tried recording sounds yet. So So I think we're getting near the end. So I saw a couple really great ones. So at this point, if anyone has any other questions, or I would love to see some more examples. So I think there's a lot of really great stuff happening here. So I think I see some spoons from Avon Grove. So I see some movement there happening. So Indian Valley had some great, they were working with some sounds and like recording noises, some really cool stuff there. Got a rotating cup game from Cranberry. Oh, we got a rover. I see a rover. Looks like we got a distance sensor too. Oh, from Newcastle. Oh, we got clapping hands. Yeah, we got 2 position servos going there. Very nice. Awesome.
It's a disco bot.
Yeah, because I see the LED too. That's cool. Yeah, hey everyone, nice job. Way to run with this. And shout out to Indian Valley. You guys really, you had some difficulties there, but great job working around it. I see another rover.
These are great. I just have to say, I love seeing what everybody's doing too. It's just like, because we all work together to try to get this done. And I'm kind of happy that, we're not bigger today, that everybody could have their own kit and do kind of their own thing, within this. But there's so much going on here today that a lot of the kids were at other events.
I'm glad. Thanks for sharing that. So, and again, like as Josh said, if we want to do another session, if we want to keep it going.
Listen, these kits aren't cheap, so protect them with your lives. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody looked up what these things actually run. It's a good chunk of change for this little box. So yeah, we'll put Chris on the schedule. I'll get with Chris and say, hey, and I'll send out an email via Micah. Hey, is this date work for you? Say 3 months from now, because I know you guys like your time to really get the word out. For part 2 of this, if you're cool. I mean, the stuff you guys are creating are phenomenal. Please take pictures. Please do me a favor, grab an iPad and snag some pics of kids doing stuff. If you don't mind, please, please, please. I can't do that. That's out of my hands. So if you could do that, that'd be wonderful. I know we're coming up on 1 o'clock. It's the normal kind of end of the run. If you're interested, again, we can look a couple months out. I'll get with Chris and come up with some dates, and then we'll see what you want to do. Does that make sense, everybody? I'm probably, see, I got a literal thumbs up there. All right, beautiful. Other than that, that's where we are. All right, cool. Chris, you did a great job today.
Thank you, everyone. You guys really ran with this. I'm really, really impressed. I wish I was there on site. In your library.
If you guys, again, libraries here, if you want to come back again, the Saturday after, I think it's December 2nd, we're doing the part 2 of this. Well, it's the repeat of this. So if you have kids who didn't get to come today, but you want to attend again, feel free to attend again, if that makes sense. Okay, so you don't have to just come to one. You can come to both. It depends on your library.
I'll stay on. I'll stay on for a couple more minutes here. So if anyone has any questions or wants to share anything, I'll be here for a couple more minutes. So
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Chris, you did a great job, like always, dude. Like, I mean, they just took off with this.
Yeah, they took off with
it. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. They've figured out how to drive them, like they can steer them, so they're driving them all through the library. They had a great time. So it went really well.
Please get some pictures.
I have 1 million pictures. I'll send them to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna log off.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, guys.
Mm-hmm.
So you got a repeat show next time. Now, I mean, we're putting this online, so now they're going to be like, "Yo, I heard this was hot fire." So better bring it next time, Barnaby. Okay.
Well, I think the next Saturday we'll do more I'll show the LEDs more right off the bat.
That's cool.
And the
I mean,
other
the amount of
thing.
stuff they're pulling out to make stuff. I mean, it looks like he was lighting a Christmas tree there. The one kid had a Christmas tree in his hand.
I love the rovers.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, I wonder, so when you teach this, is this like a normal, do you always find kids making cars kind of thing?
Yeah, you always have a couple that gravitate more towards the cars than.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah, that's very cool. Well, like I said, you and I'll get together and we'll talk about it. But yeah, look at your schedule, because it really just comes down to your schedule, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, definitely.
Looks like everybody's cleaning. Leechburg looks like they're cleaning up. Butler, how's it going? South Butler, Tiffany, everything's good. Everybody around the other Butler, the Newcastles.
Yep, we're good. We're all cleaned up.
All right, beautiful. Now
that's the thing about this too. You always end up with a mess afterwards, but it's good.
I walk in on it all the time. Yeah, and I'm like, "What did you do today?" We're like, "Well, we played." That's cool, man. Thanks for doing this. Everybody else, last minute for Chris. I'll end the recording. Sharon, last minute, or is this just a wave?
Nope, it's good. It's a wave. Thank you.
All right, you guys are awesome. See ya. Bye. Look for an email.
Bye.
All right,
guys.
Man. Ending recording now. Stop.